In this lecture, we are going to start updating the parameters of the animator controller. In our controller, we have a parameter called isShaking. This parameter should be updated to transition from the shaking state to the idle state. By transitioning to the idle state, the player can assume that the treasure chest can't be opened anymore. The parameters are only accessible via the animator component. Therefore, to update the parameters, we must have access to this component. Let's define a variable for storing this information. In your editor, open the treasure chest component. At the top of the class, define a variable called animator component with the animator class as the type. The animator class is the class assigned to the animator component. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to this class. If you were to go through this page, there are dozens of properties and methods at our disposal. As you can see, we are given a lot of control over the behavior of our animations. This includes the ability to update parameters from within a specific controller. Let's try using a method to update the isShaking parameter. Head back to your editor. Scroll to the handleInteract method. In this method, replace the print statement with the animator component .setBoolean method. The animator component has various methods for changing the values of a controller's parameters. In this case, we're using the setBoolean method to update a Boolean parameter. As the name implies, this method only allows us to update parameters with the Boolean type. There are two values that we can pass in. The first parameter is the name of the variable. Let's set this parameter to isShaking. The second parameter is the new value. Let's set this parameter to false. That's it. Updating a parameter's values is as simple as using the animator component's methods. Let's head on over to Unity. Currently, the treasure chest game object does not have access to the animator component. The prefab should be updated to have this information. Open the treasure chest prefab in prefab edit mode. On the parent object, the treasure chest component has a field for accessing the animator. The question is, how do we give it access? That's as simple as dragging the animation game object from the hierarchy into this field. Technically, we've drag and dropped a game object. However, Unity is extremely smart. It detects that our field wants a component, not a game object. It'll search for the component from within the game object. If it finds the component is assigned as the value for the field. We do not always have to accept game objects. If we use components as types for variables, Unity can handle the rest. Let's try testing our game by playing it. If I were to walk up to the treasure chest and press E, the treasure chest would stop shaking. That's exactly what we wanted. We're able to stop animations through a controller. As you can imagine, by manipulating parameters, you can do other cool things. We're finished with animating the treasure chest. In the next set of lectures, we're going to start animating the characters. I highly recommend reviewing the code and lectures before proceeding. Everything else will build on the knowledge obtained in the last set of lectures. When you're ready, I'll see you in the next lecture.